are so many questions flying around about the crypto markets just now that everybody seems to have got themselves into a little bit of a twist. So we've been seeing some crazy movements in the markets recently, both up and down, and it's easy to start getting lost in the mix of it all. So there are a few common questions that I have seen getting asked everywhere, such as, are we in a bull run? Why are the markets so red? What's the best meme coin to buy? What's the best altcoin to buy? Why is ICP not moving? So today we're going to be going over exactly why patience is important, and we'll be looking at two coins in particular. One that did pretty much nothing for 2 years and one that is probably not going to do very much for the next 2 years. Now there's going to be a few people out there that are probably quite unhappy at this, but to me personally both ICP and HBAR are going to be pretty similar in their movements, although HBAR is obviously a little bit ahead in terms of the projects themselves. Now, one thing to remember, and I could be very wrong here, but this is just kind of my own thoughts on it, is that the crypto market does follow patterns. Like, that is a fact, it's been proven. The bull run seems to repeat every 4 years. After every BTC halving, we start to see the rallies, and then the bear market comes in after the bull run. Now, one thing that is interesting is if we look at the charts of both HBAR and ICP in this pattern. So if we compare the charts from 2022 to 2023, they are very similar, right down to this little peak right here, which we can see on both charts. Now, you may be wondering why on earth this is relevant. So HBAR was launched in September of 2019, meaning that it is already pretty much 5 years old. And ICP was launched in 2021, albeit it was a very, very manipulated launch, which damaged the uptake of the project from the beginning. So what's interesting about these charts is you can see here, so I've tried to kind of highlight the key points of it. So this here is what we would really call the accumulation zone. And we can see that if we go to the ICP chart also, they're very similar in length. And then we can see that we have the upward trend on it, where it then enters what I would call a retesting of the support phase rather than an accumulation phase again. I'd say that this is retesting the support on it before it then takes off and hits a peak, and then we see the sell-offs and the downward trend. And if we go back to the ICP, we can see accumulation zone, uptake, retesting the support, another uptake, and then a sell-off. These are very, very similar, and they're over very similar timescales also. So we can see that from launch, HBAR really did not do anything much at all until 2021, and this was when it entered its first bull run. So once the bull run hit, the hype of hit HBAR and people went pretty bananas for it. We can see that it peaked at 57 cents on it before obviously we then entered the bear market, where it plummeted back down to 88 cents, and we can see it went right down. Now if we look at ICP, and personally, I try and ignore this big red drop. If you don't know about it, you should look into what obviously caused the price to pump before launch and the subsequent dump of it, and make up your own mind on what you think about that really. Now, we can see we just have a big flat line of nothing really, and it's not really that unusual, is it? If we look at how HBAR's launch went, we had a fairly big line of not a lot of action also. One thing that is quite important to remember is that these were obviously both new projects, and they were bringing something completely different to the market, and they are still developing. So when HBAR first launched, it was bringing something new to the market, it was still developing, and it still is to this day. So the model of what I'm trying to say is that with new projects that are bringing something different to the market, we cannot expect to see the movement that we do with other altcoins. So it does take time to build them to perfection. It takes time to drum up the marketing of the project to kick in, and it takes a lot of time to build the trust and the community to believe in you. So what's really interesting about HBAR is that after we had the first bull run of it, it pretty much went back to doing nothing, and it just kind of stayed there for, if we look, it reached a low in June of 2022 right until February of 2024 really, before we started to see anything happening on it. But in this time period, after around 12 months, what happened? People started to get a little bit antsy, they lost faith in the project, they were tweeting and commenting about how HBAR is dead, it's a little bit of a useless coin. But then we have to look at, once again, what happened. It started to make some moves, we can see here, and suddenly everyone started talking about HBAR again. And what happens when people start talking? They start buying, and this pushes the price on it even higher. So with ICP, it really actually is a shame, I think, what happened at the launch, because for all we know, that has held the project back from where it could have been today. So with the chart crashing like it did back here, naturally people were calling it a scam, they were screaming that it was a rug pull, etc. But whether we like it or not, this can irreparably damage a project and the belief behind it. So there's very much this sort of herd mentality, especially with crypto. So all it takes is one little bit of FUD and that will be people done with it. They won't look at it again. But quite miraculously, ICP has pulled itself back from it. It probably looks here like it hasn't done much, but if we look on the yearly chart, we can see it's increased 121%. And I think that this is genuinely just to do with the hard work into developing and marketing it have started to win over a very passionate community who have taken the time to look into the project and understand it, and they have expressed their conviction in it. Now, for me personally, going back looking at these charts, ICP I would say is still very much in an accumulation zone. How long it will go on for, I don't think anybody can really say, because it is a very, very technical and intricate project and it does require a huge amount of developing. But with their end goal of it in mind, to me it is a project that should still take off. So if we come over here and if we look at it over the 1 year chart, we can see this very long accumulation zone and the breakout of it. So to me it looks like it's back to kind of sideways action on it. I think it's entering another accumulation zone. I do think that after the Bitcoin halving and when more money starts to flow into the markets, we will see it kind of go into an upward trend. I just don't think it's going to be as dramatic as some of the others. So in my own opinion, we're not really seeing any price action on it right now, because whilst there is people buying, there's also people who want faster profits and they are selling or they are swapping these over into other coins, which is perfectly expected, especially coming this close to what is predicted to be the biggest bull run so far. So people want to be investing in coins that will get them at 20, 50, 100x this year. They don't want to be waiting another 4 or 5 years to be able to make their money back. So for me, I want to make money this year. I want to not be working the 2 jobs that I am. But does that mean that I will be swapping out or selling out on ICP? No, because like we've seen with HBAR, we still have a chance to make money this bull run with it. So I wouldn't ever guarantee anything, but for me, I don't need this to make me 100x in the next 6 months. What I want to do is keep on buying whilst we're in this accumulation zone, and when we hit the bull run peaks, sell it. So I'll sell it and then we can wait for the bull market to come back in and buy it on the dips, and then use the money made in the bear market. So then take the money that we have made in profit from the bull run and buy more into ICP, and this will put me in an even better position for when it next takes a run. Now, in terms of who I think will do better for the 2025 bull run, I am very torn between these two and who can give the better returns. So for me, HBAR appears to have a little bit more interest in it. We have seen what it's done in the previous bull run, and it has one of the most impressive governing councils in the cryptocurrency space. The partnerships that they have released have been exceptional, and they have obviously launched their $155 million HBAR fund for DeFi projects. So in terms of advancements during the bull market, they've done a substantial amount, which all bodes very well for it. Now, the one thing that would hold me back is the size of the market cap. So when we hit the 57 cents previously, the market cap was sitting at 6.5 billion. With the circulating supply that we currently have for HBAR, to hit 57 cents again, we would have to hit a 19 billion market cap. So whilst it is certainly not impossible, it does show that we're unlikely to get more than probably a 10 to 15x on this. So if we try and aim for the 20x, we're reaching a $79 billion market cap, which is not impossible, but also I would stick to aiming for the 10x to be a little bit more comfortable on this. So with ICP, we have those who absolutely love it and those who still consider it a scam coin that is going nowhere. So I've said from the beginning that this is one that I would have to have as a long-term hold. They have, I think it's a 30-year roadmap. So this is not a project that has been promising you hard and fast returns. This is one where they're saying, hey, this is what we're working on. It's a big project with big goals, but you need to have some patience. But we do also have the founder Dominic Williams, who he's out there giving interviews, he's interacting with the community, he's raising awareness of ICP and what it is that they are working towards. And in a more general sense, this is a project like we have actually never seen before. We have the technology and the team who have a serious amount of expertise behind them. But similar to HBAR in the early days, it needs to be that little bit more developed in order to show us its true potential. We have the people who have the belief and the conviction in it now, who are staking their ICP. I think a lot of people are staking it for the 8 years, and they're talking about it and they're educating people about it, but this is only a tiny portion of investors compared to the amount that will be flocking in as it starts to make its way down its roadmap. So this is one that we just need to simply have faith and patience with. So overall, I do think that HBAR has a slight edge over for this 2025 bull run, but that is not to say that I am not convinced that ICP is the stronger long-term hold and is going to outshine most projects in the future. So both do have very high market caps, so they're not going to give the type of returns that you will see from the microcaps projects, but they are safer bets long-term than most other projects out there. So HBAR continues to be in a bullish trend since around about December with a few support tests, but overall I think that after the Bitcoin halving, this is when we can really expect to see it rally. So these are two very different communities that will probably have two very strong opinions on it, but I always love feedback on what my thoughts are, so let me know in the comments below and I will see you next time.